The Dallas Cowboys have found their secret weapon both on offense and on defense, as with training camp still going on and preseason football about to start, the Cowboys have three guys who are fighting for a roster spot, but they are fighting for a lot more because the way they're performing during training camp, they are going to be pivotal pieces of this Cowboys roster moving forward into the 2026 season, and arguably might be a piece that gets them to the playoffs. We talk about that here today on Cowboys Digest. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I hope you're having a great day wherever you guys might be. Apologies for not getting a bunch of videos out to you. In fact, my wedding is actually this week, so maybe a bit touch and go, but we're going to get Cowboys news to you coming as soon as I'm back on the daily, every single day, and live streams. So as soon as we get that finished, we got some more Cowboys content coming for you in the next couple weeks. So get excited and hit that subscribe button for all the latest and greatest on America's team. Today, though, let's talk about a new report that has come out, talking about three different players that are making a push for the 53-man roster. And in my mind, with these players, making a push to be a significant impact piece for the Dallas Cowboys team. The first guy is somebody that needs no introduction. It's a guy we've mentioned a multitude of different times on this program, and that is, of course, Michael Trigg, the UDFA tight end out of Baylor, who has just been phenomenal early on through training camp. And some people are saying that he gives off what Luke Schoonmaker should have been, and unfortunately, he has not been that, but Michael Trigg is a UDFA. He signed a very lucrative contract for a UDFA, and it's proving very much dividends right away, and there's been a lot of reports talking about him and how it's going in a training camp. In fact, just a couple of days ago on day 5 of Cowboys training, they thought that there was a couple of tight ends that impressed Jake Ferguson and Baylor undrafted tight end Michael Trigg. To me, that's your 1-2 punch right there. Now, the tight end depth chart did get switched up this week a little bit because you have Jake Ferguson, you've got BSF, Luke Schoonmaker, and then Michael Trigg. Princeton Fant, though, did get injured in this week of practice. In fact, a major injury as he tore his ACL and a partial tear of his MCL and will have surgery here in a couple of weeks. Obviously, he is now gone for the entirety of the season, and that opens up more of a possibility for Michael Trigg to make the roster. I had Trigg above Fant already, but now it just makes it even more of a likelihood. Now, Blogging with the Boys talked about Michael Trigg and what he would need to do to get on the roster and how it kind of got a little bit easier without Fant in the picture, saying Trigg is going to get extended looks to build on what he's already done in training camp with 2 solid preseason games, and the Cowboys may not want to risk losing him. So, pretty clear sight in front of them for Michael Trigg, basically saying, hey, if you can go out there and compete through the first 2 games, then we feel very confident in keeping you on the roster. Now, this is something that we've obviously understood. We know the one-handed catchers that we've seen being made by Michael Trigg. We've seen him in training camp. If you haven't, go look up the clips. He's been phenomenal. And now with the way that he's playing here, hopefully get playing the same way in preseason, he's going to have a very good shot to jump onto this roster. Not to mention, when you give a significant amount of money to a UDFA, it makes sense that you're going to keep him. He signed a 3-year contract worth up to $3.1 million. While the financials don't seem that crazy of an amount for $3.1 million on 3 years, I mean $1 million per year, for a UDFA, it's pretty crazy. And he was a finalist for the Mackey Award, named All-American last year, so lots of good things for him in Baylor. Now, just going up north, up 35, he's going to be here in Dallas, and I really do think that he can be a huge, huge piece for this team. I'd arguably say if he can figure out a way to be a better blocking tight end, I would almost have him above BSF and a Luke Schoonmaker. Schoonmaker, I'm not high on, but I would have him as the number 2 tight end. And it seems like that may be the case with Joseph Hoyt. Again, having the tweet that we showed earlier on, saying that the 2 tight ends that stuck out, Jake Ferguson and Michael Trigg. The second guy that is also, to me, a secret weapon, this one probably a little bit lesser of the 3, but definitely wanted to mention him, is Sam Williams, because he has been on this roster for a while now. I mean, we've talked about Williams for 4 or 5 years now, and it hasn't really gotten to the point of, okay, we can trust this guy. It's been all what ifs. The 6'4", 260 frame has a lot of things that you like, but it's never really attributed anything. Well, now this year, I feel as though it could be a potential for him to jump in here. Now, LP Cruz on Williams of Blind with the Boys saying Williams can earn a spot not only by his own merits, but also in some parts by default if others don't step up and serve with Williams. Now, in his 5th year if the lights do come on for him, it could be the perfect time for the team and for Williams. And we've heard reports out of training camp that he is outperforming James Houston, the guy who was really a kind of unsung hero last year, even though it didn't amount to much. It still was an unsung hero in my mind. So it's a huge part in that light. In terms of what we can see in that outside linebacker room, James Houston, Malachi Lawrence are your backups, but Williams has been jumping above Houston and could not only make a push for that 53-man roster spot, but he could also be a huge piece as a backup to Donovan Ezeraku, given there is some, I'm not going to say doubts about him. I think there's a lot of excitement, but he is a second year coming off a lackluster freshman season in the NFL. Hopefully it can kind of be substitute here. But this guy, he was a pretty big piece of this Dallas defense. You go back to his rookie season, 15 games, 4 sacks, had 4.5 sacks in 23, and then obviously had the missed year in 2024. He was 5th in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. There's so much that was like just untapped talent, it felt like, with Sam Williams. It feels like this year's the year we can finally see him get back to where we want him to be. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. And then we can also see him with the new Christian Parker defense in a much better situation. Which is true for a lot of guys. I mean, Matt Eberflus did not help out the defense really at all last time out, but that's besides the point. He does have some good underlying statistics as well. You look at what we was showing, and you understand that 2022, 2023, he was that guy. It was going to be a guy we could trust on the edge. Hasn't turned out to that. I still feel confident in him going forward, but you never know. Speaking of which, let me know in the comments section, who is your secret weapon of the Dallas Cowboys for this upcoming season? Is it one of these 3 guys? Is it a guy that's unsung? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. The last guy on my list, and maybe one that is not being talked about enough at all, is Curtis Robinson. He was a late signee by the Dallas Cowboys, and he has been getting to wear the green dot as the linebacker calling plays out there during the defensive sets in training camp, saying, quote, he, alongside with others, have been entrusted with wearing the defensive green dot to relay defensive signals to the defense, unlike his other linebacker counterparts like Justin Barron, for example. He has a little more in-game experience on defense and has logged a lot of time on special teams coverage. This guy's a vet. That's a simple part of why he's in this spot, and he spent some time in a very good defense in San Francisco. I feel like he could put together a very good time here. Now, with the Dallas Cowboys, obviously it's going to be different. Last year with the San Francisco 49ers, he played the most games. He had played in an entire season with 14 games, 3 starts, having 42 tackles, also having a TFL alongside that. I do feel as though that the linebacker room is such an interesting place right now just because of what you see in DeMarvion Overshown and D. Winters. But Curtis Robinson, honestly, has been talked about more than Shamar James. And Shamar, 5th-round draft pick from last year, played well when asked upon, but it wasn't anything special. And if Curtis can come in here and be more of that veteran presence alongside Barham, Winters, and Overshown, you trust that more than what you would get from maybe Shamar James, Langston Patterson, or Justin Barron. Even though I do like all those guys, it's just a simple fact of the matter of experience over, not to mention the special teams experience over, younger potential for Barron and for James. But overall, there's a lot of stuff to continue to go on here with the Dallas Cowboys that we're going to continue to keep covering. Again, we'll be kind of off and on for the next couple of weeks, so we appreciate you, the support you have. We'll hopefully have some shorts every now and then, but when we get back, or when I get back here in the late part of August, we'll have you covered on all things Dallas Cowboys. So again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to be covering them all season long. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Peace out.